The Ani vs YouTubers dispute copyright claims and the question of fair use. A wave of allegations against Asian News International Ani, one of India's largest news agencies, has triggered a digital uproar. Prominent YouTubers including Mohak Mangal have accused Ani of misusing YouTube's copyright strike system to target independent creators and then allegedly demanding hefty sums in exchange for withdrawing those strikes. The controversy has since escalated into a larger debate over the boundaries of fair use, the role of copyright in public interest content, and YouTube's mechanisms for dispute resolution. The controversy began with YouTuber Mohak Mangal's video titled Dear Ani, released on May 26. In the 13-minute video, Mangal accused news agency Ani of exploiting YouTube's copyright enforcement mechanism to issue takedown notices against creators. Specifically, he alleged that Ani had issued 2 copyright strikes against his channel for using video clips lasting just 9 and 11 seconds, drawn from Ani footage related to the Kolkata rape case and Operation Sindoor. Mangal argued that these clips were used within the framework of commentary and analysis, qualifying as fair dealing under Indian copyright law. However, the more serious allegation was what followed. According to Mangal, legal representatives acting on Ani's behalf contacted him privately and demanded a payment between Rs 4,550 lakh to retract the copyright strikes. He claimed he was told that failure to comply would result in a third strike, which would trigger automatic deletion of his channel under YouTube's 3-strike policy. Mangal's video quickly gained traction, prompting other creators to speak out. YouTuber Rajat Pawar alleged he had faced a similar situation. He said Ani had issued 2 strikes on his videos and then offered to remove them if he either paid a penalty or signed up for an annual licensing package worth Rs 18 lakh. Pawar claimed he was warned that failure to cooperate could also result in his channel being taken down. Shortly after, popular comedian and content creator Thuj said he too had been struck by Ani for a 2-second video snippet. In his case, he alleged that Ani representatives demanded Rs 15 lakh to lift the strike. Thuj described the demand as excessive, especially given the negligible length of the clip and the broader context of humor and commentary in which it was used. Under Section 52 of the Copyright Act, 1957, certain uses of copyrighted material are not considered infringement. These include Ani's fair dealing does not allow wholesale reproduction, but short clips used with commentary, critique, or for news purposes are widely accepted as non-infringing in India's legal framework. The creators argue that their use of Ani's footage was transformative and fell within these boundaries. Ani has defended its actions in response to the allegations, stating that as the exclusive copyright holder of its content, it has the legal right to control its distribution and licensing. In a statement to the Reporters Collective, the agency said enforcing these rights through mechanisms like YouTube's copyright policy or legal action is not extortion. It is the lawful protection of property, as guaranteed by copyright law. Anyone disputing our rights is free to seek legal recourse. In a related development, Ani editor-in-chief Smita Prakash shared an opinion article titled Piracy is not free speech, why YouTubers must pay for Ani's content on X, reinforcing the agency's position on intellectual property and licensing in the digital era. Meanwhile, the Press Trust of India (PTI) addressed broader concerns faced by content creators. In a message directed at the YouTube creator community, PTI said it remains committed to credible journalism and ethical business practices. In a post shared by Press Trust of India (PTI) to news_multimedia to support responsible content creation, it announced highly affordable access to its video footage for use on YouTube and other social media platforms. YouTube allows rights holders to file copyright complaints through an automated process. 3 strikes within 90 days typically result in channel termination. Critics argue that this system lacks nuance and disproportionately empowers large copyright holders over individual creators. While YouTube has not issued a broad public statement on the Ani controversy, a company spokesperson responded to media queries saying, "We work hard to balance the rights of copyright holders with the creative pursuits of the YouTube community. It's not up to YouTube to decide who owns the rights to content, which is why we give copyright holders tools to make copyright claims and uploaders tools to dispute claims that are made incorrectly." According to YouTube, when a copyright holder notifies the platform of an alleged infringement, it removes the content in accordance with applicable laws and platform policies. If a user believes their content qualifies as a copyright exception such as fair use or fair dealing, they can file a counter notification. The company noted that copyright strikes can be resolved if a valid counter notice is submitted or if the original claimant issues a retraction. Videos are reinstated in such cases. YouTube said it receives a high volume of copyright takedown requests, some of which may involve content that falls under legal exceptions. In such situations, rights holders may be asked to explain why a particular video does not qualify for an exception. If no explanation is provided, YouTube may choose to keep the video live. The company added that it actively monitors the use of its copyright enforcement tools to prevent misuse. Internal teams review claims, remove faulty reference files in the Content ID system, and may revoke access to copyright enforcement tools if a partner is found to have repeatedly abused the process. YouTube India and previous copyright disputes. This is not the first time YouTube India has been at the center of such disputes. These incidents highlight systemic issues with automated takedowns, a lack of culturally localized moderation, and inadequate redress mechanisms for smaller creators. Trinamool Congress MP Saket Gokula has written to Google LLC, seeking clarity on YouTube's copyright enforcement policies. In his public statement, he alleged that copyright strikes were being used as a form of extortion against independent creators and said the matter merited parliamentary scrutiny. Important regarding copyright strikes against YouTube creators in India for use of clips from wire. Agencies have received messages from numerous YouTube creators in India about their content being subject to copyright strikes merely for the use of a news clip from a newswire. Pic.twitter.com Larkaka Saket Gokula MP. Saket Gokula May 26, 2025. The dispute has amplified ongoing conversations about the way copyright is enforced on digital platforms, particularly when it involves brief news footage or commentary. In the wake of the allegations, several content creators, journalists, and digital observers have pointed to structural gaps in current systems and discussed areas where greater clarity and safeguards may be needed. Some of the key issues being highlighted include a lack of clarity on fair use, fair dealing in digital spaces. While India's Copyright Act provides fair dealing exemptions for criticism, review, and news reporting, creators say these provisions are often overlooked in platform enforcement. There is growing discussion about the need for clearer guidance both from platforms and media rights holders on what constitutes permissible use in video commentary or explainers. Absence of a review step before strikes are issued and concerns have been raised about the ease with which copyright holders can issue takedown notices, even for short clips. Some creators and commentators have suggested that platforms could consider introducing a basic review or notification process, particularly in cases involving limited use for commentary or education before formal strikes are applied. Limited options for appeal before channel termination. Under YouTube's 3-strike policy, a channel can be removed within 90 days if strikes are not successfully challenged. Creators have pointed out the lack of a dedicated appeal layer or human moderation before such a major action is taken and have questioned whether the current system gives smaller content producers enough room to defend themselves. Need for transparency in how enforcement tools are used. As allegations of large financial demands linked to copyright strikes have surfaced, there is renewed interest in whether platforms can monitor and disclose how frequently such tools are used, and by whom. Some journalists and digital rights advocates have said that greater transparency could help prevent potential misuse. While creators have questioned the intent and impact of ANI's copyright enforcement, others argue that the agency's actions reflect standard media industry practice. News agencies invest significantly in gathering, producing, and distributing content and rely on licensing revenue as a key source of sustainability. Protecting that material from unlicensed reuse, even if only for a few seconds, is legally within their rights. Moreover, under current platform policies, copyright holders must monitor and flag unauthorized use themselves. In this framework, enforcement often falls disproportionately on rights holders, who may resort to proactive legal or technical tools to maintain control over their footage, particularly in an environment where content is quickly remixed and redistributed without credit or compensation. Swipe left for next video. And at the same time, creators, journalists, and digital policy advocates continue to raise concerns about the opacity and rigidity of these systems. With allegations of large financial demands linked to copyright strikes, the debate has shifted to broader questions about transparency, due process, and fairness. These tensions reflect a fundamental challenge: how to balance the legal and commercial rights of media organizations with the creative and expressive freedoms of digital content creators, especially as the boundaries between news, opinion, and online commentary continue to blur. Latest blogs